Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rays Rewind with Bell, Bushman, and Drew.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Arose Arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, Game 4 hero.
The sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome to the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. What's up, everybody? Welcome in for another episode. Of course, make sure to go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast, Rays Rewind, and also our Instagram page at Rays Rewind Pod. Like and subscribe. I hate doing the intros because I want to get into it. What a crazy day in Rays baseball. Now, obviously, the last 24 hours have been kind of disappointing with last night's defeat by the New York Yankees. Three lead changes. We blew the lead 3 times, ultimately lose in extra innings. Then coming into today, the Rays drop another one against the Yankees. The weather didn't help either in that case. But I think the big news today was the Rays buying and selling and making some moves that were, I know a lot of people were like, what just happened? And, obviously there was a move last night where the Rays traded Zach Littell to the Cincinnati Reds right after he threw, 5 shutout innings last night against the Yankees. And as soon as the game was over, he was traded to the Reds. And then coming into the day, Rays were pretty quiet throughout the day until pretty much the last half an hour or hour of the trade deadline where they made some moves. And we'll go into that in just 1 second. But, I wanted to get your reaction. I mean, what did you think? I mean, you and I were kind of like, look, they're probably going to sell, or you're probably going to see, some guys that are fan favorites go, which wasn't the case. Yandy's still here. Pete Fairbanks is still here. Brandon Lau's still here. So that's a good sign. I think if those guys were traded away, I think the Rays probably signified, hey, we're waving the white flag for the rest of the way. But not trading those guys tells me there's confidence left in this team, and that's why maybe the moves they made today kind of signal that, look, there's plenty of baseball left. Let's see what happens. And I know I was quite vocal on the last episode where, hey, we're pretty much done. Football season's here. Look, I'll be a politician on this. I might flip-flop on that and say, look, I'm still going to watch. If this is the spark that the team needs by offloading a few guys that, maybe we'll have prosperous careers in other locations, and we brought in some guys that maybe could help out, so be it.
Right.
But what were your thoughts? Let's start off with the Zach Littell trade. I mean, we kind of knew that was coming anyways. He was one of the guys that's been talked about pitching. Mm-hmm. Teams were needing pitching. I didn't expect him to go to the Reds. That was kind of a surprise location. But what are your thoughts on Littell being traded right after the game last night? Midnight trade.
Yeah. I mean, I think if the Rays were even in a different position, I think he's a guy that you probably see get traded anyway. So he was easily, I think, the least surprising of the moves that were made. It's just a matter of who was going to want him. He seemed like a classic guy that the Rays really valued, but you were curious if other teams valued him. And obviously the Reds did enough to want him, and because he eats innings and he's never going to kill you. He's never going to be like a high end guy for you. I was excited about the return initially, and then when they added the third team in there with the Dodgers, and then they ended up, I some early reports I saw with the Reds, it was like people thought Rhys Hines was a part of it, or I saw something about Will Benson, someone like one of their outfielders, and I was excited about that, but to see it was a 28-year-old pitcher he's done great in the minor leagues, not really done anything in the majors, was a little disappointing. And then for them to take the higher end prospect and to flip him to the Dodgers and Paul Gervais as well, and Ben Wardfet, for the catcher was surprising too. I also just feel like Rays fans, when there's 3-team trades going on, get a little PTSD from when the last time they did a 3-team trade with, they got a decent prospect in that trade, and Trey Turner, and then flipped him for Steven Souza Jr., and that didn't really work out. So, and considering the pitcher, his name I can't remember off the top of my head, seemed kind of like a guy that the Rays would want. He's 21.
Brian Van Bell.
No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the prospect that they had,
Oh.
and then they flipped. Like, he seemed like just the guy that the Rays like. He's got great stuff. Command's a little iffy. They're probably confident they can fix it. He's got a weird arm, slots, weird delivery from the left side. And they said, no, thank you. We'd rather take the 28-year-old catcher who's essentially blocked, 3 ways to Sunday in the Dodgers organization right now. And what's his name again? It's
Paul Gervais.
No, the catcher.
Oh, Hunter Fiducia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fiducia.
He's a lefty guy. He's got good numbers in AAA. He's done really well there.
From what I'm hearing, they might already bring him up. Like,
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Because who else? You got Matt Fortes or Nick Fortes from the Marlins. You have Theis. So, why not have a third catcher? Or
I never really thought Zach Littell would bring us back any sort of major league talent. So I'm not surprised both the return was from, and I know there was some maneuvering there at the end with the 3-team, but that the return was both guys that are, seem kind of either at that AA or AAA level. And then, maybe they could contribute this year. We'll see where they put Van Bell and Fiducia. But that was kind of the appetizer to trade deadline day for me. I was excited. I was up trying to follow MLB trade rumors to see what
dude, I was on my phone I didn't get hardly any work done, and I had my tablet set up too, and that was going. So I was refreshing and going through like the Twitter's feed like nonstop, like trying to see like what kind of rumors were coming down, and like nothing. Like the Rays were quiet all day. There was not even like a rumor like coming down saying, "Okay, we have reports the Rays might be making nothing," until like the last hour of the trade deadline, which I was kind of like, okay, maybe they'll stay pat. Maybe they won't do anything this year.
Yeah, Well, and I was just refreshing MLB trade rumors, and there was a couple YouTube streams I was listening to, and it was constantly refreshing. But it was good to get the Zach Littell one out of the way last night, and then kind of pave the way for today. So I hope, I will say this year I was prepared, and we'll talk about the lack of trades with certain guys later, but I was prepared, to see some of these guys move on to playoff contenders. And, honestly, I'm just excited. Like I'm happy for Zach. I hope that he gets, a chance at the playoffs with the Reds. And, I hope, obviously they expect him to be a part of that rotation, a key part. So I hope it all goes well for him. I'm glad they got him. They sent him to a place that seems like that, has an actual shot at making the playoffs. And the Rays are usually pretty good about, I feel like when they get rid of guys, they send them, they put Danny there and from his hometown and Milwaukee and Wisconsin. And then, Zach's in a good spot in Reds. So I'm interested to see what happens.
I think the biggest splashes were the end of the day today. Obviously the loss. So the game, we were up down 6-0 by the end of the second. And then Aranda is out. He's going to be out for extended time with an injury by colliding into Giancarlo Stanton. Yandy Diaz got hurt. He was out of the game. And then Ryan Pepio didn't even last 3 innings to the game either. And Chandler Simpson out with a I think a finger. So that didn't help the game either. Glad that Yandy Diaz is not going to be out for an extended period of time, or Chandler Simpson, but Aranda is probably going to be out for an extended period of time, according to Kevin Cash. But I think the big thing about today was the trades that the Rays made at the last hour. A couple of Would you consider the first two shockers? Getting Adrian Hauser, and then also like the Griffin Jackson one was kind of like, whoa, okay. This really makes our bullpen like a lot better.
If I see this graphic, if you show me this graphic, back in time, and I'm seeing this ahead in the
Mhm.
future. I'm prepared. I'm excited because it shows the Rays are buyers.
Yep.
Obviously, we're a playoff contender, playoff team, and I would have said, "Oh yeah, okay, we must be a wild card team. We're competing." Because this right here is
This
a
is
team
the
that looks like it's buying
yeah,
for
this is the
this
sort of list
season.
saying, "Hey, we're gonna make a playoff push."
Outside of
Which I mean, look, they could always make a playoff push. I mean, there's plenty of baseball left. I mean, they're only what 3 out of the wild card. So
well, there'll be four. There'll be four at the end of the day because
but that to me,
tech.
Drew, that's manageable. Like 4
Yeah,
games with the
it's
amount of
not
time they have
great. I
left.
mean,
It's not
they're
great, but it's
still,
manageable though.
but and they don't have, and the issue is they don't really have great. I don't think the tiebreakers of the teams that they played. I mean, they. I think they've got a lot of. I think they're behind in a lot of those. So I just it was just weird. We'll talk about the specific trades in a minute, but like just big picture, you saw the quotes from Eric Neander leading up to deadline day, which was that they were threading the needle, feeling like they still had a lot of belief in the group. They still think they can do this. I kind of thought that was just, coach speak or front
Smoke
office
and
speak.
mirrors and smoke and
Yeah, and then you
mirrors.
saw Ryan Bass reporting that they're gonna probably keep the core guys, and I thought that was also just kind of, smoke like a smoke screen just to kind of help maybe drive a little bit more action, or maybe cause like a team like the Red Sox, who has been very interested in a guy like Yandy, or like the Mets with Brandon, to like, hey, let's pull the trigger, let's meet the asking price.
I think though for the
Um,
asking price for Yandy was probably astronomical.
right.
It's like
Well,
astronomical
as it should
high.
be, especially for
Yeah.
the Red Sox.
Yeah. Like if you're the
It
Red
wasn't a
Sox,
matter of the Rays trading him; as a matter of anybody wanting to meet their price.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta like trade like for the Red Sox, you're trading like Ibar, Duran, like
or
Abreu,
Abreu, yeah, Abreu,
Abreu, like Duran, like you're
or
trading like
Rafael, or one of those
yeah,
guys.
you're trading like MLB like guys that are already on the 40-man roster, not like a bunch of prospects that you won't see for the next couple of years.
It was going to have to hurt.
Oh yeah, it would have to hurt that
Um,
core that they were trying to build, and if you want a guy like Andy, you're going to have to pony up, and I don't think they were ready to do that, especially
I,
for a guy his age. You know,
yeah. So the buying, I wanted to say I was disappointed. I think it was because I'm at I go through stages of grief, right? Because the Rays are not playing well. So at first I was frustrated, and I realized this might sound strange because, I shouldn't want guys like Yanni or Brandon to be traded, but I just have resigned myself that this is not a team for whatever reason, the bullpen, and we can get into specific reasons, but they are not going to be a playoff team this year. And so for me, having that realization and having that determination, I'm very comfortable within the Rays front office saying, all right, let's reposition, let's strike while the iron's hot. Like Pete Fairbanks, I'm sure, like, I think he's kind of on the decline a little bit. I mean, his strikeout rates are down. I think they probably could have gotten a pretty good deal for him this year, deadline. So I would have honestly totally understood them trading him. Yandy, Brandon obviously would have gotten good packages for them. Like, I just had resigned myself to the fact that that was going to happen, and was kind of looking forward to seeing the moves that they were going to make and the guys they were going to bring in, regardless or not if it was guys that were impacting the team this year, next year, or they were some 20-year-old high A, high ceiling, whatever prospects. So when it didn't happen, I was disappointed from that standpoint. Now, of course, I'm glad they're still around, but I was kind of like, all right, well, now because it felt like there was not like this realization on the front office side of, or they really think they still can go for it, or still this team that is currently constructed can do it. And that frustrated me because it's not how I'm thinking about this team, and I want them to be on the same page as me. But then these deals are coming in, they're actually
they're good.
buying,
Yeah, they're actually
and you
good
saw
deals too.
and you saw too, like, I think they said the Rays were in on Paddock. They had checked in on Cease at one point, like these random 1-year rentals that
Mm-hmm.
the Rays were interested in. It was just struck a different chord because it's just not what you would expect. And so as they started buying, it was a little like I kind of had to recalibrate a little bit. And I've now reached the point, I've come full circle, where, or I guess on a 180, where I think big picture, this shows one, they're definitely not punting or
They're not waving the
kicking.
white flag.
They're not waving the white flag for this year and next year, because that was the question we talked about last week, was if you trade Yanni, you trade Brandon, what does that do for your offense and your lineup next year? Well, I mean, I have a hard time believing that if they're not trading them now, I don't think they're going to just
Let him go for free
decide,
agency.
or they're just going to decide, well, yeah, let Brandon go for free agency because they got the one club option left.
Yep.
And then Yanni's under contract for a couple more years.
Yep.
They're not going to just trade him in the offseason. I think they pick up both options, or they bring both guys back, and I think it shows a commitment to next year, because outside of Hauser, who's super cheap, he's on a minor league deal essentially.
I think he's got team control for what, 3 years?
Hauser, that's Jax.
Or is that Jax? Okay, that's Jax.
Yeah, and Hauser, they could, you maybe re-sign if he does well. Like, I don't know if he sticks around after this year, but he's good for this year. Obviously, he's going to help fill those innings that Zach Littell, leaving Zach Littell, that you got to fill that gap. And then Jax is, if they do get rid of Pete Fairbanks, that's the one guy I could see them maybe moving on from in the offseason via trade or something.
Yep.
Jax
reminds me of like a Jason Adam.
Yeah, he's going to slide right into that closer role.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think that's good for Pete, though. I think that takes a little bit of the pressure off of Pete.
For sure. And it fixes, it's a huge bullpen addition for now.
Yeah.
In addition to the benefits of, down the road. So, yeah, so then I sit back and think, well, okay. The baseball seasons are so long, and honestly, it's like, you just want 1 year for everything to click. And the idea of having to resign yourself to this year being a lost season and having to wait again until next year to maybe have, everything work out and it be a real contender is frustrating. And it's a tough reality sometimes for me, especially when I'm invested in the season from game 1 through 162. But I'm kind of encouraged. I don't know, it kind of fired me up a little bit now thinking back, big picture. Hey, they're adding to this team this year. I wish they would have done I wish they would have done a little bit more to the major league lineup. I don't think Caballero's departure really means much, to be honest with you.
It doesn't.
I've heard traction.
I've heard Pereira is probably going to come up. I think they're going to probably bring him up.
Well, they need to
soon.
They should. That's the other thing is I want some of these guys like that Fiducia guy.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Pereira come up, and I would love to see these guys up sooner than later, because
I wouldn't be surprised if they're not up sooner than later because of all the holes they now have to fill. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Bob Seymour up too as well, like filling in for first base because Aranda's going to be out.
Well, and that's the thing is, and we need to talk about that. How many guys, how many spots are on the active roster that we need to fill? And then, what does that mean for the position players? Because there's just a number of holes now with Aranda going on the IL, I'm sure at some point here in the next 24 hours. And then
this is like the scene out of Godfather Part 3 where Michael Corleone goes, I thought I was out, but they brought me back in. Like, I was kind of checked out after yesterday, and now because of this, it's like I don't want to check out now. I'm kind of interested in seeing how all this plays out, because I know the front office can get creative with all these moves that they made, and with the guys that are down in Durham that they could possibly bring up. I'm interested. I'm now, okay, you had my attention. I'm gonna you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. Now you brought me back in, you son of bitches. That's where I'm at right now. Because of all, I'm looking at the trades they made today, and I'm like, man, all three of these guys that they got are instant plug-ins right now. And now it's okay, this could be interesting going forward. Even though look, we're coming home, we're playing the Dodgers, which doesn't help matters most. But I'm kind of maybe this is the spark that they needed to kind of get some fresh blood in there, for the guys that they traded away. Yeah, like you say, Caballero's kind of like a it's a move that he's a great player, stole a lot of bases for us, but he's one of those expendable guys. Palacios is probably coming back pretty soon. He's probably going to be in there. Kim's coming back too as well. So
Well, Palacios they pulled from his rehab because he
they
had
did
hamstring tightness. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, you got Hassan Kim.
Yep.
So that's the other thing is, when can Hassan Kim?
I think he's due back pretty soon. I think maybe for the Dodgers series.
Is because then that would make sense. No, he's going to have a few days.
Okay.
Because his date was this 22nd. So 10 days. That's
probably next week.
You're looking at, actually
this weekend.
10 days would either be tomorrow or Saturday. So
yeah, for the Dodgers series. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're thinking he slides in with the Caballero spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing, too, is like Curtis Mead, you thought was going to be maybe the guy that would come up naturally if they traded out of the infield. And then with Arano being hurt, Curtis can play first. They could bring him up. They need another right-handed bat. But now that he's on the move, it's like, all right, now we got to figure out who's going to take that spot. And you mentioned Bob Seymour.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Bob Seymour, maybe Trey Morgan. I don't know if Trey's on the 40-man or not. Obviously, they would probably just rather do Bob Seymour if he's on the 40-man. I have to look.
I was going to ask you with him and Trey Morgan. I know Carson Williams. There's a lot of people wanting him to come up, but I think there's no room for him right now because there's just it's a log jam at shortstop right now. Even though Carson's doing well in Durham right now, I just don't think that's.
And people don't want to hear this. People don't want to hear this, but Taylor Walls is one of the better players on the team right now.
Yeah.
He really is. He's playing great, and he's playing. I mean, I know he lost that ball today or whatever, and there was a couple plays in Cincinnati, but he's playing. He's
playing for his job.
Listen, he's playing great, and you're seeing why he's valuable. When he's adding anything with the bat, and when he's even on a somewhat of a hot streak at the plate, he's so valuable to have on the field because he's so good defensively. And then if he's giving you, I mean, he's third on the team in RBIs. And I know they cherry pick stats, the dates and when they start stuff, but they showed a graphic today. He's third on the team in RBIs since sometime in May or something. He's got 27 RBIs. I mean, that'll play. You want that guy on the field. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you take him off right now. I don't think you could afford to.
How would you? What? Okay, so I put a poll up on Twitter about the grade. I was like, hey, let's grade the trade deadline for the Rays. I went A, B, C, F, and here are the results so far. Oh, great! Of course, my internet has to be poopy right now, so I'll put it up on my phone. Let's see here. So it was a resounding, a lot of the people on X did grade the Rays overall. They did a B.
Mm-hmm.
How would you grade the trade deadline moves that the Rays made?
I can't give it an A. So I would probably say B minus.
I was gonna say that too as well. B minus. That to me is a great grade for what they did.
The individual pieces that they got, I think, are good. I'm questioning whether or not we're going to be this had no impact. The team, I'm worried we're going to be 2 weeks from now and it's going to be this season is over for sure. Definitely over. And now we just have these guys that we traded for that, they could impact next year and the years after, but you almost wonder should they have just gone out and sold and really taken advantage of the market and gotten, kind of reset the clock a little bit. I don't know. It was so striking. It was so shockingly different to me than what I expected that it's hard for me to be oh, A all day. So I'd say B minus because I would have said if they could get Griffin Jax, man, that's awesome. Let's do it. I think he's awesome. I think he's great. Adrian Hauser's obviously doing really well this year. So
that was the one. That was the one trade I was kind of for the Griffin Jax. The Griffin Jax one was I was like, what? And for who? I was okay. I was I'm not mad at this at all. And then to get Hauser for what we gave up, I was like, I'm not mad at that either. Like, we didn't really give up any top prospects for Hauser. And I mean, look, Bradley, we've seen glimpses of Bradley of what he can do. I mean, and that was like short glimpses. He wasn't consistent at all really in the rotation. But when he was good, he was good. And when he was bad, he was super bad. But if there was one guy to go, I mean, Bradley was the guy to go. But I think the return on him with getting Jax, that's an A+ in my book. I mean, that was a great trade.
Yeah. I was a little shocked to see them trade Taj. I kind of assumed, when he got down to Durham, and then obviously he pitched really great last night.
Look, 7 shutout, 7 no-hit innings.
I know.
It boosts your trade value up a lot.
I think that if he goes and becomes this great pitcher with the Twins, I think, there's always a lot of talk about how teams need to be careful trading with the Rays. I think the Rays would be very cautious to ever trade pitchers to the Twins, because that would be the second pitcher that burned them. So I was a little shocked about Taj being traded, and honestly, Curtis, like, I think logically it made sense earlier in the year. We talk about, like, he just didn't seem to have a spot, but I just assumed going in that after the deadline they would have a spot for him, so I was kind of expecting that they would finally give him the runway the last couple months here to get some regular at bats and maybe pull an Aranda.
Yeah.
So
I think the organization though was kind of, I think they had enough. I think we've seen the experiment kind of not go our way, and I think it was just time for maybe to get some value out of him, which they did, which was great. A lot of people wanted Christopher Morel to get traded, but you're not going to get anything out of that at all. So
I thought that was hilarious when he got it.
He had a double today, didn't he?
Yeah, he crushed the ball. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing is, like, what does that mean for Morel moving forward?
His job is safe for a little bit longer.
Pereira, he's the most exciting guy they got because he's young and he's shown a lot of power.
Yeah, he crushes the ball.
He crushes minor leagues and AAA, and just hasn't really gotten a ton of opportunity in the majors. I don't know how many games he's played, and I remember him being up a little bit with the Yankees, but so that's exciting to me. Yeah, I mean, he was in the Yankees in 2023, so he hasn't been in the majors for 2 seasons. I didn't realize it had been that long. Yeah, he got 93 at bats in 2023 for a 151 batting average. He struck out 40 times in 93 at bats. So that'll be exciting to see. But yeah, I mean, like, I hope they give him some run. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you think about the outfield, like, assuming Simpson doesn't go on the IL. Can I just say something? Actually, this is off the topic of trade deadline.
Yeah.
My patience with Jake Mangum is running thin.
Do you think is the honeymoon over?
The honeymoon, for me, the honeymoon period is officially over with Jake Mangum, and I realize that he is. I realize that he is one of the better defenders we have in the outfield. So I'm not saying doesn't have value for this team, but his at bats are painful for me to watch. The man, his strike, his discipline at the plate, which it's funny because early on in the year you would think, like, he had this great reputation. He's just a great hitter, right? He's hit at every level. He's obviously older. He's 29 or 28, whatever, and he's just hit at every level, but just never had the opportunity because he's just kind of one of those guys. He's doesn't blow you away with anything, and he's not as good of a defender as a guy like DeLuca. He doesn't have any power, but he hits great, and he's fast, but you can always find reasons why other guys got an opportunity before him. And then he comes up, takes advantage. He's hitting the cover off the ball. He's getting on base. He's got this great average. He's exciting. He's hustling, all this stuff. And it's just turned into now, it's almost like he thinks that he can make contact, and he can on every pitch that's thrown. Mm-hmm. And so his swing decisions are so bad.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why they got Pereira. I mean, look,
he's constantly
DeLuca's back. DeLuca's back, and it's going well so far having Johnny back. And I think with maybe the addition of Pereira, I think maybe the Rays are like kind of like we need some more power in the outfield, and this is the guy that's probably gonna, supplement for Mangum and also for Morel. So I mean, maybe that's why they went out and got him to be out in the outfield. Now that you have DeLuca back.
I mean, he's in July. Mangum hit 221, which his OBP was 268. Like you can't have that for Jake Mangum. It's kind of like Chandler. Now, Jake offers a little bit more defensively right now, so he doesn't have as much pressure to be on base like Chandler does. And he's not going to steal like Chandler does either. But like Jake's got to have an OBP in the threes, easy. Like absolutely, like has to be 350 for him to have value on this team, especially offensively. And his swing decisions have just been so bad lately. And it's been so frustrating to watch because I swear every ball he hits is a chopper off the plate or it's an infield, it's like a dribbler on the infield. And I don't think I've seen him drive the ball into the outfield at all, like in the last 3 weeks. And I'm kind of starting like the honeymoon period is officially over for me. And I think I really do think that he's on notice a little bit. Like if they can find somebody that's
what I think that's where Pereira comes in.
I think defensively, if they can find somebody that's capable, is consistently, just good. I think it's possible Jake loses his spot on this team.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pereira comes in and takes that spot probably the next week or two.
I guess. I mean, that's the thing is no one knows. And Jake feels like one of those guys that the Rays just look at and think like, kind of like Taylor.
We love
Walls
this guy
early on. Like, yeah, he just a ton of value. You think, Kevin Cash seems to like him a lot.
Have you seen Kevin Cash lately? Kevin Cash looks like a defeated man.
I think he's got to get rid of the beard.
Well, his press conference today, he sounded like he had a big sigh. He just sounded defeated too. Like it's like, yeah.
I think it's been a hard couple of weeks. I think and you're starting to see the frustration. He had a moment in the press conference after the game last night where Ryan Bass was asking questions. And again, the Tampa Bay media, their questions are so bad. Like they've had bullpen issues for the last month plus and this bullpen has single-handedly cost them a playoff spot at this point in the season and potentially just tank their season altogether.
Disclaimer here, no, we have nothing against Tampa Bay media.
No. I'm just saying
sometimes the questions are a little bit
like,
terrible.
And I get Ryan's like a team employee, I guess, or, whatever. I'm not sure how that works, but like his questions that he's giving Kevin are all about like specific moments in the game, about Kelly's balk, about, this pitch to Volpe, whatever. And it's like, can we please ask the man like, hey, your bullpen just you became the first team in modern baseball history to blow a lead in the 8th.
Yeah, but Drew, they're told not to ask questions like that. They're told not to. They're told
I just need a big picture question of like, can your bullpen, another rough night, like at this point, like it's been a month plus, like what do you say? Like how do you fix this issue? Like what
Drew,
what can you guys do?
Why they don't allow guys like me in there, because we ask those types of questions. We're not warned beforehand. Look, you can't ask these types of questions.
This is if I was in there, I was thinking of.
My first question would be like, Kevin, the bullpen gave up 3 leads. What are we doing here? Like, how can we fix this? What's going on with the bullpen? Like, why are we giving up 3 leads? Like, with the game, I mean, the game should have been won and like.
Well, Pete should have closed it. I mean, it's one thing. Like Baker's been struggling.
No, I'm done with him. You can ship him back to Baltimore, man. I'm done with him, dude.
He's been really disappointing.
He's becoming a liability with. If he still misses Baltimore, he can go back there. I think he just misses his precious Orioles so much that I think
he's going to be one of those guys that you
hate.
Might struggle. No, I think he might be one of those guys that struggles maybe this year. and then he comes in the next year, and it's like one of those guys that when they go in free agency, they've been at one team their whole career, and then they go in free agency, and then they start with a new team, and that first year or like first while, it takes them a little bit, like they're kind of out of their element. They don't seem comfortable. They're struggling, and then they kind of things start clicking. I wouldn't be surprised with how it was obvious that the move from Baltimore affected him. That it's just one of
So
those
what you're
things that
saying is he needs to come down and be in Tampa for an off season to see how lovely it is down here, and then he'll be fine.
he's just continuing to get settled, but that's been disappointing, no doubt. I mean, he's
talk about guys I'm done with is him. Like the honeymoon is over with Brian Baker. I'm done with him.
I don't even know if there was a honeymoon because he got off to a terrible start.
There's not. Ever since he's brought on, he just feels like he just misses his home in Baltimore. And
right.
It's affecting him emotionally, and it's terrible, man. I'm done with him.
But yeah, in Cash's press conference, so media questions aside, he, Ryan started asking like, well, you got to be encouraged. He started saying something about, got to be encouraged by some of the at bats, blah, blah, blah. I think he was getting to like maybe Josh's at bat with the 2-run homer or just whatever. And Cash cut him off and said, there's not much really to be encouraged about right now. And that was it. And like,
and rightfully so. Those are the types of questions that, I would be too.
And so when you're starting to get Kevin Cash kind of getting those responses, that's when he's wearing thin.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like at this point, I mean, the team's got to go out and do it, but like, I have no choice but to be, like I said, I've come full circle. It's like, I could be pessimistic and just be like pissed that this team is underperforming and the bullpen sucks and we're not going to be a playoff team more than likely. Or I can just choose to say, okay, like you said, 4 games is manageable. They've got a bunch of games against teams that are in front of them left, mainly the Mariners, being the one I'm thinking about the top of my head. And they got 2 months to do it, and it's going to be hard because they've got this huge road trip on the West Coast and everything. But hey, why not? Like, why can't they go out and get hot and win? Like they made additions to the team, and now that they get through the stress of the trade deadline and most of the guys are staying around, maybe they're just able to kind of breathe and like, all right, let's try and get something done here. So I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm choosing to be optimistic. It took me a while to get to this point. I was kind of frustrated. This whole series was frustrating. And I felt sorry for myself and felt sorry for the Rays for a little bit. And then now I'm like, all right, I'm going to go into tomorrow night's game feeling like, hey, let's go win. And, who knows, by next week, we could be a game out or 2, like it could be a totally different story by the end of next week. I don't know. No one knows. And that's why I got to go play the games.
I'm glad July's over.
July's over. Like,
it's been a nightmare.
Mentally, guys could be like, hey, let's turn the page. Let's start anew.
I hope they come out of this. You can shut the door in July. It's been nothing but a disaster. An epic tailspin.
It's been the worst month record-wise in Kevin Cash's managerial.
It's been nothing short of an epic tailspin with this team for this past month, where it's just an endless disappointment after another. So shut the door in July. Come back home. Yeah, you're playing the Dodgers. The Dodgers haven't been really playing that good either, but it's still the Dodgers. Come back home. Get some of the Florida sunshine before the start on Friday, and just play baseball. I had put all my chips in last night. I was done. Like, you should have seen the rants I was doing last night on X. I was like, man, I was like, don't expect Kevin Cash to be here next year. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm glad football's back, but I guess you could say I have a rejuvenated interest now because of what they did today, and I hate that. Because
it's likely going to end poorly.
I know. We're
going to be like saying the same stuff like 2 weeks.
We're going to be like the 2 old Muppet guys that are in the top part of the theater, just going, this sucks. And I know that's going to happen, but now I'm interested in seeing, with all the new additions, how they're going to be creative about bringing up guys and how they're going to plug and play with the guys that are now injured. I'm interested now. Like, I'm interested in seeing this because, yes, it's probably going to end badly, But at least I can say is I bought back in with the chips that I had, being interested in this team going forward. Even though we have like a month and a half, 2 months left, like I'm still like maybe there's still a glimmer of hope because they're not totally out of it just yet. So Rays fans, just like a politician, I flip-flop and I'm bought back in. You can crucify me on X.
Why not? You know, why?
Yeah.
Why would you want to not be bought in? It makes the season a little bit more fun.
I know.
Hey, last thing for me, we're officially assuming all these guys come back next year. Outside of Hauser, I don't really care about him, but I mean that'd be great, I guess. But we're officially like, hey, new ownership next year.
Yeah,
free agency, maybe maybe one free agency signing in the offense.
One Kyle Tucker signing away. I mean,
we're cooking with gas, and you really don't know. I mean, like with the new ownership, you're like, hey, I mean,
see, Drew, I was ready. I was ready to hang things up and go. You know what? Next year we got new ownership. They'll probably open up the pocketbooks to bring butts and seats. Maybe that's going to happen, but now I have to be bought back in. So, Rays fans, you should too. Make sure you go to the Big Stein this weekend and the rest of the way. Plenty of baseball still left. Still a manageable time to where the Rays can get back in the wild card race. So don't give up hope just yet. Be optimistic. Be
optimistic until till Shohei hits a leadoff homer to start the series tomorrow.
So thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Rays Rewind podcast. Make sure to go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast, Rays Rewind, and also Instagram at Rays Rewind Pod. We will see you guys next week, probably with another rant and rave
West
about
Coast late night with the Rays next week.
So tune in next week when we drop another episode on the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Media Network. We'll see you next time. Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind with L. Bushman and Drew on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.